You know the story, treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen. Travis will get me a coffee a bit later, won't you, Trav? I hope so. All the guests are up there. He's up there chatting. They're all getting their faces painted to be on the panel in a moment, and he's chatting and I don't have a coffee. But they'll be discussing these issues on the panel. Sociopath. What's a sociopath? Do you know? Because the lady who writes in says she's been living with one for 2 years and didn't know until she realised her entire life was all over the place. I didn't mean for it to make such a noise. It's a bit of a giggle. What do you do when you embarrass yourself at work? And finally, my partner and I moved into our dream apartment about 2 years ago, and it's been a nightmare. You have to stay tuned to find out why. Sweet and Sour coming up with all the panellists right now.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar in there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How would I know? Welcome to Sweet and Sour. Lovely to have your company. Gary Mitchell with you. We've started already. Let's meet who started the action already. First up, hello Lewis. Welcome back this week,
Thank
sir.
you. It's always nice. It's always nice to come back, guest. Say hello.
Oh, you look really sunny today, mate. Too.
It's springtime.
It is. Isn't it a
Kinda.
nice time to be alive? And Perth weather, yes, viewers, we come to you from Perth, is sensational at the moment.
Beautiful stuff.
Are you enjoying it too, Courtney?
I love it.
Yeah.
But I love all weather.
Do you?
Yep. I love it when it rains.
Woman
and-
for all seasons.
Yeah.
I think Perth has the best weather,
Yeah.
most consistent weather out of any of the state capital cities.
Oh, that's
Just
true.
fantastic. It's what? It's true.
That's true.
Hello, Nat.
Yeah, hi.
How are you?
I'm really good.
You think that's true?
Yeah, we
Well-
do have the best weather. Well, I think. Anyway.
Well, Sydney's subtropical, Brisbane's very tropical, Melbourne's cold, Adelaide can be so hot, no sea breeze.
Just
we get a
defend
sea
the
breeze.
whole of Australia,
Well,
why don't
you know, and Darwin,
There's too
6
many
months
of
of the
us
year,
here.
no good. We like it here in Perth. Come and visit.
Stop advertising.
Tourism WA. Hello, JD.
Hello, I would say that we have the best weather in the world. I would just broaden
Yeah.
it around.
You know,
Best
And
climate.
beaches.
I read a statistic,
Yeah.
cop this one. I don't know if it's true or not because they're statistics, but Perth, Scotland has an average of 300 days of cloud cover,
Yeah.
and Perth, Western Australia has an average of more than 300 days of sunshine. Isn't that amazing? So I'd move from Perth,
I've
Scotland.
got the water bill to prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Perth, Tasmania?
Is there a Perth, Tasmania?
There is.
Oh my
Little
gosh.
town of Perth
No,
in
it's-
Tasmania. It's a
you'd
great
freeze
spot.
your ass off down there. I've been to Tassie. I've had many mates move down there and most of them have moved back. We love Tassie. Hello, panellists. We all know the term sociopath. We hear it in the movies, we read about it in the newspapers, and apparently we elect them to all manner of political office. We casually use the term as a derogatory dig at awful work colleagues and family members who are constantly horrible to us, but I think perhaps few of us are really aware of what a true sociopath is, nor how to identify them. I found myself in a share house with one for over 2 years. I lost my friends, I lost my job, I lost money, and I felt so stressed and unsure of myself the whole time. Do any of the panellists know what a sociopath is? And if you do, how do you deal with them in the real world? I'm writing because my horror made me realise that everyone has to find out before they encounter one. Since studying up after my 2 years of trauma, I now know they are far more numerous than any of us normal folk could fathom. We all need to wake up because they seek to control and stop any progress we make. The worst of them become callous murderers. Drama on the show. They are dangerous and everywhere. So I ask you all panellists, if you've become aware, what's your personal story with any sociopaths and how do you now identify them if you know? And it comes to us from Kathleen in Stirling of South Australia. That's in Adelaide, murder capital of Australia, right? Well, first up, Courtney. Do you know what a sociopath is?
What if I was one?
Ooh. Yeah. Apparently you never confront a sociopath until them.
Clearly, so then I'm not one, obviously.
Clearly. How would you know?
I've had no experience with a sociopath,
None that you know.
but I don't think that I have. Like, I think I've got very good intuitive sense of people. I do.
Well, you're
I think
definitely not
I
one.
have great friends.
Because sociopaths
think-
apparently have, there are sociopaths and there are empaths, people with emotion
I'm an
and
empath.
intuition.
And a lot of my friends are empaths.
Yeah, a lot of mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think I think,
Sociopaths say that all the
so
time.
I think it's important to exercise or practice that, like trusting your intuition and that sixth sense. I think having, building your awareness of your own sixth sense and your own intuition would help navigate.
I don't know whether it does,
Well, it
I don't know
has
whether
for
it
me. I can only speak for me.
because you've never encountered one yet. Because they
don't think I
really
have.
throw you into disarray.
But I'm not scared of them. I don't.
Yeah, get him, girl.
Gosh, what happens if you happen to meet a Ted Bundy? None of the girls were scared of him
I'll
either.
just walk it in the other direction.
It's an awful
There's
thing.
no boundary.
Lewis,
Yes, sir.
any encounters with what you know to be sociopathic behaviours from others?
Well, in my tenure, I bumped into one or two of them.
Oh, really?
I have. I went home and bumped into a shitload of them.
Really?
Yeah, they're fucking everywhere. Like she says, if she's referring to Trump, we could identify them by them going around and grabbing people by the pussy. If they did that, then we go, oh, sociopath is grabbing someone by the pussy, just like Trump. But no, you just, man, the world's crazy. The world's crazy, man.
Yeah, we have to learn to deal with all sorts of
Well, you
people,
do.
don't we?
Yeah.
That's just how you navigate life, isn't it?
That's the way
You
it is,
learn
mate.
as you go. Oh. All right, this side of the panel. John,
Yeah.
sociopathic behaviour, have you ever come in contact with it?
Unfortunately, yes. And
Oh.
I know someone whose son is following in his footsteps, which
Oh.
is because it seems to be a bit of a learned behaviour as well, and it's really sad to see because they're very manipulative and they can lie and they can stop you from doing a lot of things if you were caught, as Kathleen was saying. You know, I'm caught in this web of manipulation from this sociopath. So it's really hard. I guess if one of the tricks is not to tell them everything that you're doing, because they'll try and stop you from actually doing something.
If you were aware that they're a sociopath.
Yeah.
That's the biggest trick, I think. Most of them don't have a big red flag on their face
No.
that says I'm a sociopath.
I mean, you can go online and look up various things, the traits of it, and be aware of it and be open to it. But yeah, I mean, but they're also, sociopaths are very good at actually hiding the fact that they're sociopaths. So it's a
Highly
tricky
skilled
one.
manipulative.
Yeah.
So do you think a sociopath knows that they're a sociopath?
That's a really good question.
Some of them don't know that they're emotionally disconnected, and that's one of the tests. If they're not
can tell.
emotional, and yet apparently they learn to mimic emotions to make others think that they're as emotional as
It
the rest
almost
of them.
sounds alien, doesn't it? When you describe them, they don't sound human. It's like lacking human is almost how you could describe them. Humane qualities.
A friend of mine told me that they work by instinct rather than emotionally. They're like animals. So
but I would say animals are instinctive.
they are. They work by instinct.
Oh,
But not emotion. You know, a bear won't come up to you and go, there. A bear will go, I need to feed. Are you in my way? We'll get and that's all it is.
interesting.
All right, you've been quiet on this.
I have, haven't
That
I?
makes me scared.
Look, anytime you externalise your locus of control, which means any time that you try and control someone outside of you, which is what a sociopath's trying to do, coincidentally, you actually disempower yourself. So the best approach really is to learn what it is that a sociopath seeks. I mean, I'm sorry to say, Kathleen, I feel like you're perfect fodder. And what makes perfect fodder for a sociopath? Usually someone who's pretty unsure of themselves, insecure, directionless, those kinds of things. It's pretty hard for a sociopath to latch onto someone who's pretty driven, they know what they want, they're pretty confident. So maybe work on controlling or having a look at your own sense of self and strengthen that rather than worrying about everything outside of you, because you actually can't control that.
We asked our viewers at home to answer this question on social media for us. Do you know how to recognise a sociopath? Well, amazingly enough, 33% of people said yes. I don't know, is that accurate?
I don't think so.
33% of people know how to recognise a sociopath?
What, within 5 minutes?
Maybe they
you know
think
what?
psychopath. Maybe people think psychopath.
What's the difference?
Well, there's quite a big
There
difference.
is a big difference.
Psychopaths, like, kill people.
Emotionally
you know,
disconnected.
they do acts. They act out, so it's obvious.
They're totally...
All right,
maybe
we're
people
going to
get the
discover
term
what a
penis
sociopath
crossed.
is during the break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about embarrassing moments at work.
Well, I looked it up, Gaz, and I've got quite a few. traits, actually.
Here on Sweet and Sour,
Have some sugar in me, baby.
it's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
Well, welcome back to Sweet and Sour, everyone. If you'd like to send us a letter, send it to the addresses, many of them, that are appearing on your screen in 5, 4, there you go, didn't even wait for me. There you go. 5 social media contact points, no excuse not to get a letter in and have it discussed. And for every letter that we do discuss, we are sending you to the movies courtesy of Natalie Cameron and NRC Communications. And the movie we're sending you to this week is Natalie Runs a Marathon, and apparently it's a really good movie. I've not seen it. I don't know. Has anyone seen it?
No, is it like Run Lola Run? Because that was a good
Oh, do you know what? I used to go to Adelaide and stay with my sister and brother-in-law, and we would watch Run Lola Run every year. Right? Let's put it on again. Run Lola Run.
It's beautiful. I love that.
The winds of change. Oh, I'm so embarrassed, Sweet and Sour. I work in retail, which has been getting quieter lately. Last Saturday, it's a recent letter. On an unusually quiet Saturday in the shop, I was on my own because the other girl called in sick and the boss went out for a coffee. As we all do when we're on our own, I don't know, well, I suppose we do. I passed wind.
Speak from the eye.
I didn't mean for it to make such a noise, but it did. And the terrible sound it continued to make lasted way too long.
Oh, no.
We haven't had a fart letter here for years. So on top of that, it was unfortunately a very malodorous one. I continued about with my cleaning duties only to look up about a minute later to realise a woman, one of our best clients, had been standing there the whole time without me knowing. She looked very embarrassed and I must have turned bright pink because on making eye contact with me, she stammered nervously and said something like she'd forgotten her purse and would come back later. Well, she didn't.
Get out! It's malodorous.
What do I do to make this better?
Run away.
I can call her and apologise, but I'm embarrassed to do that. I don't know what to say. My sister says not to make a drama out of it, but when the client comes back into the shop, I know I'll continue to run the other way if I don't make it right, whatever that is. Help, please, Michaela of Hawthorne, Victoria. Aren't you lucky we changed your name? Oh. Otherwise, your friends would be going, you. Yeah, okay. Nat, has this ever happened to you?
No.
Okay.
How malodorous was it? I kind of want to know. She might have just wiped her out. She
It
might
was
be
a
dead.
stinky.
She might be dead and you don't have to worry about it. Killed her from the odour. Just like walked out of the shop and then, whoop. Okay. Sorry. Serious composure. No, look, when something embarrassing happens, my tactic is to just be vulnerable and to admit to it and to try and, whenever you're vulnerable, people tend to share and say, oh yeah, something has embarrassed, I've been embarrassed by something before.
Nat, was it you?
You're embarrassing.
It's terrible. We're all going to run.
No, but that's
cleared her
it.
colon.
Welcome to the medical special. John, she hasn't done anything
look.
wrong to anybody. She hasn't
Michaela,
hurt
that's
anybody.
your real name. We all do it, all right? Let's face it.
We don't embarrass
may
ourselves,
not
though.
actually admit to it, but we all do it. And as Billy Connolly once said, or
Does the
words to
Queen
this
do it?
effect, I don't know. I think maybe the Queen has somebody who does it for her. But
Lady
Billy
of the
Connolly
Wind.
basically said, if we didn't fart, we'd explode.
true.
I'll explode. Boom, like that.
Can you
Because
get
of
out
the
of-
build-up of gas.
Can we?
It's got to come out
I
somewhere.
think we know how
Really.
it happens.
But I think that,
Is
look,
there anything to be done about it?
I think face up to it with good humour.
With good humour.
With good humour.
Just giggle it
if
off.
she comes back in, just admit your mistake. Yes, it's embarrassing, but yeah, for goodness sake,
I'm
we
so
all do
sorry.
it.
Yeah,
And just
yeah.
say sorry and laugh about it.
Put her a gas mask in case it happens.
Or some like lavender mist.
No,
Just
but she didn't say that it
I reckon you
smelled,
should
did she?
bank it.
No, malodorous.
Bank it.
Melodious.
Bank it.
No,
You've got a story for the next 30 years to tell at dinner parties.
Malodorous.
Malodorous, not
Malodorous.
malodorous.
Melody.
Good
It
on
wasn't making
Malodorous.
It wasn't one of those that changes key 3 times.
Malodorous. Sorry, Lewis, come on, we cut you off.
Well, my mama used to say you acted like your shit don't stink. Do you know what I mean? But see, me and the more, as you get older, you do it more and more, don't you? Do you agree with me,
Why are
JD?
you looking at us?
But yeah, I don't trust anyone that does. I don't trust anyone that wouldn't fart in front of me. But if I'm eating, I'd like them to, go somewhere else
If you all
and have a
let
fart.
wind go right now,
But
leaving.
I don't see a problem with it. It's empowering, Me too. Me too. I fart.
Me too.
I farted in aisle 3 at Coles. Burned around aisle 4, I could still smell it. You know what I mean? So I'm quite proud of the farting thing. I've done it all my life.
He's
Love
gone
it.
round in the trolley and
Just drop
come
it in the
round
morning.
again and it's
But
still there.
I don't know if what's her name? Michaela.
Michaela.
That's not a real name.
Michaela, just do a Houdini, nip out the back and drop the next one if it's embarrassing you. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, it's just natural. I got nothing,
Come on,
nothing
Courtney.
so bad to say about it.
How embarrassed would you be?
Me, mortified. My
would you
whole
do?
family used to joke. I still joke. This is so even I can feel it in my chest as I'm
Do
talking
you come
about
from
it.
a family of farters?
I come from a huge family of fighters. My sister is the brother I never had. But
You just shafted your sister.
Yeah, she's
national
proud.
TV.
She would say, own it. She would say, own it. But they used to joke.
You got to own it.
They used to
They used to joke that when I fart, I'll fly to the moon.
So what do you do when you have to drop one? What do you do?
I go into a place where I'm alone.
Oh, very good.
And I delicately do it like a lady.
I went to.
I said that on television. How
Are you
did
a
that
silent
happen?
but deadly? Do you squeeze right really softly?
I'm sorry, I'm screaming into the mic. I
Do you
apologise.
let it rip? I'm
Next
alone.
letter.
Oh,
I think
okay.
we're on to the next letter.
Hang on, we have to. Vinny's running around going, you have to do your say. We're running out of time. So we asked you at home to answer this question. Once you've embarrassed yourself completely in front of a business client, is the business relationship repairable? Of course it is. And 71% of you have farted, obviously, in front of a business client and repaired your relationship. 29% of you have yet to experience that wonderful thing. When we come back, I have no idea what we're talking about. Oh, living closer together. I did want to. Oh, never mind. When we come back, living closer.
Here on Sweet and Sour.
How's the sugar in there, baby?
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
And yes, we did. Welcome back to Sweet and Sour. Too close for comfort. Now that we're living closer and closer together, how do we cope with the noise factors that come with living in close proximity to one another? My partner and I moved into our dream apartment about 2 years ago, and it's beautiful, but aesthetics aren't everything. The pool and the gym areas are always a focal point of bacteria, and neither of us will use those facilities any longer because I suppose it's impossible to keep those areas clean given the number of people who use them. Thankfully, because we don't use them anymore, we no longer get the colds, flus, ear and stomach aches that seem to be a regular feature of living here. But the problems haven't and don't stop there. On one side of us, there's a couple with 2 small dogs which bark and whine all day when the couple go to work. Yes, we've told them. On the other side of us, we have a couple whose every romantic gesture is played out at 120 decibels. And yes, we've told them. Behind us, we have a family with 3 young kids. If one stops crying, another starts. Yes, we've told them. It's awful. We've chatted about it with our friends, and it seems this noise phenomenon is just normal now. How do the panellists have any suggestions with how to cope in this new world where we all live on top of each other? Kim of West Perth in WA writes, and we're going straight to Lewis.
Yes.
Noise.
Kim, it's called insulation and double glazing chicken. You spent this dosh on a nice gaff in West Perth, then you might as well just go the little extra mile and insulate yourself, do you know what I mean? However,
Double glazing.
However,
Insulation.
I used to live in Vic Park, the guy in the house behind us on a Saturday afternoon used to have a bit of ritual with his missus and they'd get together and, all right, so I'd be in my shed Just by coincidence at 2 p.m. and he's going, and she's, me. I'm like, we're all going, yeah, mother, yeah, get that like that. So, insulation, double glazing, and you laugh.
Back to that.
Do you know what I mean? Excellent.
And when you want to enjoy it, go out to your shed so you can.
Well, you know, it's nice hearing people having rumpy pumpy, I reckon. Yeah, it's better than putting on the computer.
It's better than hearing an argument.
Yeah.
All right, Courtney. What do you do about the gym and the pool areas?
Well, they don't go, so it doesn't matter, does it? But don't they
I
have a
suppose-
towel? Don't they have a towel? Just take a towel, you know.
I think if it bothers you, move. If it bothers you that much, move. Adapt.
But where are you going to go?
Otherwise, adapt.
Living,
Where are you going to go?
not there.
Where are you going to go? You're
Leave
going to. But you know, you're going to still have people on top of you.
No,
You
but
can't move away.
no,
now.
okay.
If you choose to live in that kind of environment, though, I mean,
What's the environment?
like in an
an
apartment or
apartment,
close proximity? Go and
Oh,
live.
a lot of people
go and
don't
live.
have much option anymore.
Why?
We're moving towards that
Or
situation,
they think
aren't
that
we?
they don't. Or they think that they don't. I mean, they
Well,
could
it's a
move.
financial thing, isn't it?
No, but
No,
also
there are
it's also
always
because
ways.
we're
I think there are
close to the
always
city.
ways.
It is a
People
choice.
get, I have to be here, but do they? Like, do they really? Like, maybe you could, if it really bothers you every day, it's a day-to-day thing, and it's
people are
grating at
training
you, and it
from
bothers you. Move.
Mecca.
Because you can't change, like what you said
Can't
earlier.
keep moving.
You can't change other people's lives, but you can
Can't
change
keep
what you
moving.
do.
But then again, there are some neighbours that are very conscious of the noise they're making.
Yeah, try and find them.
And won't, go up to 120 decibels in order to keep their neighbours happy.
Yeah.
Then you join the
Be
strata.
considerate. We asked you at home as we begin to live
You
in
take
closer
control.
proximity to one another, are noise issues becoming harder to deal with? And here's what you said: 67% of people have noisy neighbours. 33% of people still have the means to keep moving to avoid them. All right, who's next? Nat. Noisy neighbours?
We have an Airbnb as part of our home. And whenever,
How does that work?
well, we've got a granny flat that the granny doesn't
okay,
live in.
at the back.
So we've Airbnb, anyway. So whenever we have a guest, we normally a little bit Waltons in the house, good night, Fred, good night, and then when
Do you
that
do it on
happens,
purpose?
No, we don't. But as soon as that happens, the kids unfortunately got a bad habit, and I'm like, like to try and
Be
keep them
quiet.
hushed down, be quiet, because I don't want it to disturb those people. But look, the
Waltons.
old bills, quite seriously now, the old bills in West Perth particularly, some of them they didn't know how to do noise insulation. It's the biggest complaint that goes through all the councils and all the courts. That's one of the big ones. So these days they're a lot more careful about the way that they do things, and the noise insulation is a major thing. So choose something in a newer complex where they have better noise abatement methods these days. There's all kinds of things that
Do you
they
know,
do
in
now.
Victoria on Chapel Street, there's a big argument going on at the moment because they've just positioned 2 apartment blocks. They're huge, I've seen them. 11 millimetres away from one another.
wow.
How do you deal with that, Jono?
Egg cartons.
Egg cartons.
My answer
There's
to
no
that one.
room.
Egg cartons.
On your
Egg
windows.
cartons on your
He's a drummer. He
insulation.
knows what he's
I'm a
talking
drummer,
about.
yeah.
He's a drummer. Egg cartons.
Sound deadening technology. Use egg cartons.
We put
No,
a mattress up on the...
Yeah. No, I mean, there are ways of doing it. We call them gobos in the media, that sound deadening on the studios. But Kim, you've chosen to live in a really nice area. It's a privilege to live in those areas. But have you talked to the building owners? Is there a strata management group in that building, or how? I don't know how it works. So maybe be the squeaky wheel and complain to someone beyond that if it really is getting
there is
grating
ways
it. Or move.
Or buy some earplugs. Simple as that. If you want to go to bed.
Cheap.
Noise cancelling
See?
headphones. There you
Hear
go.
that music? We've got to go.
Oh, really?
Say good night, Jono.
Good night, Jono. I'm just
night, Jimbo.
channeling the Waltons.
Channeling the
Jono.
Waltons.
No, we were.
Yeah.
Grandma Walton.
Grandpa.
I can't hear you.
What?
That's my fix.
Good night, Nat. Thanks for being here. Good night, Courtney.
Good night.
Good night, Lewis. Terrific
a
to have you
pleasure.
back,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Lovely,
We'll see you
lovely.
again soon.
Thanks,
Thank all of our wonderful panellists. Thank our terrific crew. And thanks for having us at home tonight, Australia. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye. That's it. Oh, you catch up.